Hello everyone, my name is Animesh Sen. Today I'm going to deliver a presentation on the topic globalization with social responsibility. So let's start with the introduction. Globalization is the process of interaction and integrating among people, companies, and governments worldwide. Increased globalization gave rise to a lot of problems, including ethical and social responsibility at home and abroad. They look to establish or contract operations, production, service, and sales in countries and regions where they can exploit cheaper labor and resources. The wages paid in the new settings can be minimal and workers' rights and conditions poor. During the past 55 years, technological improvements in transportations, communication, and information processing and the internet have made big contributions to the development of countries. To manage this trend fairly, it is recommended to create universal ethical norms, rules, and regulations. Why does social responsibility matters? Social responsibility affects people on so many different levels. It's important for stockholders to know that the executives are running the company in an honest and ethical way. Also, from a consumer point of view, consumer wants to know that companies really care about them and providing for their needs, not just making a profit. Further, it carries over to the public. Without this principle, more corruption would find its way into the business realm. Companies should seek to promote social responsibility in every way possible. Here are a few examples of global companies which are performing social responsibility. The first example is from PNG. Thanks to PNG Hope Schools, a program in partnership with the China Youth Development Foundation, China now have better access to education in poverty-stricken rural areas of China. PNG Hope Schools have benefited over 150,000 children across China in the last 15 years, and more than 5,000 China employees have actively supported its program activities. The next example is from a famous mobile manufacturer, Nokia. Electronic products such as cell phones impact the environment both during production and after their useful life when they are discarded and turned into electronic waste. Nokia is listed in Greenpeace Guide to Greener Electronics that scores leading electronics manufacturers according to their policies on sustainability, climate and energy and how green their products are. The last example is from Nestle, one of the largest food manufacturers in the world. In 2009, Nestle instituted the Cocoa Plan in an effort to encourage sustainability, labor rights, and fair trade in the cocoa industry. The Cocoa Plan is Nestle's way of helping to tackle key issues facing cocoa farmers, their families, and communities in order to create a better future for cocoa farming. So the question arises, is globalization sustainable for everyone? International Monetary Fund asserts that as globalization has progressed, living conditions have improved significantly in virtually all countries. However, the strongest gains have been made by the advanced countries and only some of developing countries. That the income gap between high income and low income countries has grown wider in a matter of concern, and the number of the world's citizens in abject poverty is deeply disturbing. But it is wrong to jump to the conclusion that globalization has caused the divergence, or that nothing can be done to improve the situation. Here are a few positives of globalization. As more money is poured into developing countries, there is a greater chance for the people in those countries to economically succeed and increase their standard of living. Global competition encourages creativity and innovation and keeps prices for commodities and services in check. Developing countries are able to reap the benefits of current technology without undergoing many of the growing pains associated with development of these technologies. Governments are able to better work together towards common goals, and now that there is an advantage in cooperation, an improved ability to interact and coordinate, and a global awareness of issues. Lastly, there is a greater access to foreign culture in the form of movies, music, food, clothing, and more. In short, the world has more choices. Here are the few negatives of globalization. Outsourcing, while it provides jobs to a population in one country, takes away those jobs from another country, leaving many without opportunities. Although different cultures from around the world are able to interact, they begin to melt, and the contours and individuality of each begin to fade. There may be a greater chance of disease spreading worldwide, as well as invasive species that could prove devastating in innovative ecosystems. There is little international regulation, an unfortunate fact that could have dire consequences for the safety of people and the environment. Large Western driven organizations such as the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank make sure it's easy for a developing country to obtain a loan. However, a Western focus is often applied to a non Western situation, resulting in failed progress. And finally, we come to the conclusion. It is accepted that globalization is an unavoidable process and will progress forever. All business desire to compete successfully in international environment should obey to legal and ethical rules and regulations. It requires little thought for most of us to know the socially responsible or ethically correct response to questions without breaking the law, destroying the environment. Denying someone taking unfair advantage or behaving in a manner that should bring bodily harm or damage to others. Thank you.